Am I the asshole for not knocking on the door when my roommate was making out with his girlfriend? Four of us share the same room and live in bunk beds. We never had this tradition of knocking on the door before entering the bedroom amongst us. One day my roommate invited his girlfriend and they were sitting on his own bunk bed watching a movie. I didn't know that she had come over, because I was bathing. I enter the room, I'm draped in my towel and was in my bathrobe, and through the corner of my eye I noticed that they were making out, but I could only see them for a brief second. To avoid embarrassment I grab my clothes from the closet ASAP, and go to the kitchen to change. The other two of my roommates were not present. I change and go on with the rest of my day. He doesn't show any signs of bringing that up the next day. The next day while I was casually cooking in the kitchen, this guy walks in and starts screaming at me for entering the room while he was alone with his girlfriend. I shout back at him telling that isn't his own private room and told him to get his own place if it bothers him. You guys are like one step away from being Charlie Bucket's grandparents. Info. 4 of us share the same room and live in bunk beds. Why? The next day while I was casually cooking in the kitchen, this guy walks in and starts screaming at me for entering the room while he was alone with his girlfriend. I shout back at him telling that isn't his own private room and told him to get his own place if it bothers him. Not the asshole. This is all that needs to be said. If he wants privacy, then get his own place with his own room. Sharing a room with 4 other people, you get no privacy. That is what he signed up for. He yelling at you when you yourself just got out the shower and had to go change clothes in the kitchen. If anything, he was in the wrong for having her in your space. If this escalates, stand your ground. Do not argue. Simply repeat. Told him to get his own place if it bothers him. Not the asshole. Privacy is a luxury that it seems none of you can't afford at the moment, unfortunately. Your roommate needs to understand this. As you mentioned, either get your own private place or suck it up. Hopefully you can afford a private place soon. Not the asshole. At the very least, the roommate needed to ask ahead of time. You needed your clothes and they were in your room. Your roommate was an asshole for screaming at you. Not the asshole. Privacy does not exist when 4 people are sharing a bedroom. Am I the asshole for ordering food while at my in-laws' house? We've been staying with my in-laws through the holiday. During Christmas and Nye we of course ate a lot, and really overindulge. Since January 1st, they've said they want to fast, eat lighter, etc., which I completely get, and I have been joining them in this. We've been eating things like salads, prosciutto, fruit, etc. However, yesterday I was really hungry after we had soup. I told my partner that I was going to head out to the shop near to the house to pick up some ground beef and a bread roll to make a burger. We've both been sick, and he said he thought it was a bad idea to go out in the cold while recovering. I said that I was alright going, and he said I was being irresponsible about my health. I said okay, thank you, but I am still hungry and I don't want to trouble your parents to cook again, so I will order some food. He said there was plenty of food in the house, and when I told him I was just in the mood for something hearty, he asked me why I couldn't just be happy with what we have. I said that I wasn't unhappy, just hungry. He got really upset with me and said I didn't appreciate him. He also reminded me that there is a lot of packaging associated with delivery services. We try to live a low-waste lifestyle. He suggested a piece of Parmigiano, which I'm not a big fan of, or pineapple, yummy, but not satiating for me. I did thank him, but I said again that I would really just like to have something. I was surprised at him reacting like this because I didn't accuse him. I wasn't upset at all, and I wasn't asking anything from him. I was more than happy to feed myself. But he was very distressed, so I apologized and said, alright, I won't order anything. But I remained hungry, and thinking about it again makes me very frustrated. I feel like I stayed hungry for no reason. Is my hunger blinding me here? It seems like no matter what option I suggested for food, he was angry that I didn't want to eat what was in the house, even though I was willing to provide everything for myself. Was this inconsiderate of me? Edit. I don't mean to make my partner sounded like a controlling awe. I think he was being unreasonable, but he also has been on edge for a couple of things. We have matters to attend to at home. His parents have commented on weight gain a lot recently, etc. He is not an unkind, unpleasant person at all, and everyone has their irritable moments. I'm just trying to figure out whether he was overreacting or I was, unintentionally, rude. Edit 2. It has been suggested many times that this scenario is happening because we all are hangry, and I think that is very true. Tears of joy. Edit 3. Guys, we stay until the 5th every year to celebrate my mother-in-law birthday. My partner and his sister have done this for years before me, and we only spend the 31st 5th at their actual house up north. We rent a house for the whole family down south for the actual Xmas days. Edit 4. These responses have prompted a lot of conversation, and I've come to the conclusion that my partner really just did not want to hurt his parents' feelings and make them feel bad for me being hungry. Not to say things were handled well, but this is a case of 3 sensitive people, me, my partner, and his dad, being sensitive, not anything malicious or cruel. Not the asshole, but from an etiquette perspective you should ask others in the home if they would like anything before you place the order. Especially since they have been hosting and feeding you. It's not wrong to crave something different, but it would be rude if you ordered food just for you then proceeded to eat alone. Not the asshole. Your husband's behavior sounds a little manipulative. It is clear he was against you getting outside food, maybe even substantial food altogether, but instead of saying that and accepting your decision, he seemed to opt for shame, guilt to make you back down. No thanks. You were not judging anyone else's eating or asking him, his family, to go out of their way for you. If they are insulted, you may not enjoy or tolerate eating the exact same nourishment as them multiple days straight. That's on them to work through. I honestly wonder if your husband doesn't have some kind of issue with your eating in general. Who wrecks a slice or cheese or some pineapple when someone's hankering for hearty things like a burger? Info. Would your in-laws care that you would have ordered something to eat? I don't think you're an asshole, because if you're hungry and not full then there should be no issue. Not the asshole. I find it very strange your boyfriend wants to police your food intake. Is he trying to tell you you're fat, or is he just being an ass? Or is he communicating poorly? If you're on your cycle, I get why you want that burger. Just make sure you ask everyone in the house what they want, if anything, before you order. Tell them why if they get nosy. I'm on the rag and I need a burger. Not the asshole. I hate being trapped in someone's house with no control over food. You asked if anyone wanted something while you are ordering, and you have every right to have food you want. When hosting, I bend over backwards to make sure guests are well fed and satisfied. I would never impose my plan to eat lightly or eat less on anyone. They're imposing their eating preferences on you, and your husband is pressuring you and guilting you to prevent you from getting food. That's asshole behavior. They should be mortified that they didn't give you enough food. Instead, you're being guilt-tripped. You a grown-ass person with your own grown-ass money. Unless you bumming money off them, then no, you aren't the ah. You have the right to eat what you want and no one should tell you anything. Am I the asshole for hanging my girlfriend's underwear out to dry? My girlfriend, F21, and I, M22, live together and take turns doing household chores. This includes washing dishes, vacuuming, and doing laundry. The other day my girlfriend was at work, and I decided to throw a load in the washer. I didn't have enough laundry to do a full one, so I added the clothes from her hamper. Our dryer isn't working, so when the cycle was done, I hung the stuff on the clothesline outside. It was a nice, windy day, so it was gonna dry quick. Later I heard my GF's car pull in the driveway. I went downstairs to greet her, and as she was coming in, I saw that she had her laundry bundled in her arms. She looked upset and slammed the door behind her. I asked if something was wrong, and she said she was pissed that I hung her underwear out for everyone to see. I didn't really think about it, but most of the stuff from the basket were her socks and panties. She's a little conservative, so her undies are basically granny panties, think white, cotton Hanes. She chewed me out and said how embarrassed she was that all our neighbors now know what her undies looks like. I told her that it's not a big deal and that everyone already assumed she wore underwear, but she's been pissed at me for a couple days. Am I the asshole? A couple of thoughts. I laughed out loud when I read your post. In a few years she will probably think this is funny, at least I hope so. If this is the worst thing you do, then you are a keeper. Do you have any idea how many posts here are from women whose husbands wouldn't know dirty laundry if it bit them on their asses? Let alone think to take care of that chore. Who cares what kind of panties she wears? If one of your neighbors has the temerity to say anything, you can tell them to fuck right off. You are so significant other, not the asshole. You'll be the asshole if you do it again, knowing how much it bothers her. You're not the asshole for this incident. One day hopefully your girlfriend will learn that she's not the main character in other people's lives, and other people do not think about her nearly as much as she imagines. Nah, I don't know where you live, but here it's very normal to dry things on the clothesline when the weather is good and most people have some underwear on there. I don't think you were to know she wouldn't like it. But I'm not gonna say she's necessarily in the wrong. Seems like it's just something she didn't like the idea of and she got stressed about it. Everyone's different. You are the asshole, but not a massive one. Pro tip though. It was clearly a big deal to her, so don't be dismissive and tell her it's not a big deal. Consider her feelings instead of assuming they're invalid. Beer mugs, you'll be right, mate. Not the asshole, but never hand woman's underwear outside. I got stolen my underwear by some creeps on many occasions. And it was targeted because only my nice pieces were stolen. Old and high coverage pieces stayed on clothing line. Nah, but you don't seem to be trying to understand her feelings here at all. You should also consider that there are a lot of creepy people out there. Regardless, it's pretty reasonable for a woman to not want all her entire neighborhood to see her underwear. Why not just apologize? Am I the asshole upset because my boyfriend didn't cook dinner? Yesterday, I, 28F, went to work at 7 a.m. and didn't get back till 7 p.m. I didn't get chance to have anything to eat or drink all day due to being non-stop busy. My boyfriend, 29M, texted to say he had got me dinner and everything was sorted. When I got home, he had got me a sandwich, a samosa, and 2 cookies. Today, I was at work for the same amount of time. I managed to have a soft drink and a chocolate bar. I came back home and he had got me some pasta and jacket potatoes. I am absolutely starving and said we'd have pasta, but then realized he hadn't brought any pesto, so I didn't really fancy plain pasta. My boyfriend wanted jacket potatoes, but they're going to take an hour and I didn't want to wait that long. I suggested pizza for a quick meal, but again, he wanted jacket potatoes. He was asking what my problem is. I lost my temper and told him to go home because I don't have the energy to deal with him. I am so exhausted, all I wanted was to relax and have dinner. Am I the asshole because I was upset he didn't cook me dinner? He had bought food with his own money. He hasn't had any work this weekend, he's been at my house all day chilling. All I was looking forward to was a cooked meal. He told me I'm an ungrateful brat and he's gone back to his mom's now. I'm in bed crying and can't bring myself to eat. Edit. There was no food in as we'd just returned back from holiday on Friday evening. I'd driven us the 4 hours back and didn't have the energy to go to the shops. I was crazy busy with work on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday he texted to say he had dinner sorted, it was a store-bought sandwich and samosa. On Sunday, I texted to suggest pasta and he said he'll pop to the shops and sort it. I texted him to say I was 5 minutes away and if he could put a pan on the hob to boil. When I got in, he was on the sofa playing Pokemon but said he hadn't seen my text. No food was cooked, there was just a box of pasta and potatoes in the fridge. If he'd have actually cooked the pasta, then of course I would have just eaten it, but he hasn't cooked anything. He bought the ingredients which I said I'd pay him for. We've been together 4 years and he treats my home like his. On the weekends I am happy for him to eat whatever he wants from the kitchen, even thought he doesn't pay towards it. He is on a very healthy salary, so it wasn't a case that he couldn't afford to buy a pasta sauce, he just thought plain pasta was okay. Get up, get groceries, batch cook yourself enough food to do the whole week, and if as you suggest in your post it's your house, when he comes back ask for the keys and tell him he's no longer required. You don't need that kind of child in your life. Not the asshole, but he is. Why are you not managing your food? Do you always starve yourself all day and turn yourself into a hangry dragon? Or is this new and a reaction to having the boyfriend over? Honestly, I think this is on you. You are the asshole. You need to start eating a proper breakfast and you need to have an after-work snack prepared, particularly if you aren't going to sort out some sort of food into your work schedule. A boyfriend isn't alive and made any more than a girlfriend is, and you totally blew your top at someone who was cooking you dinner. You do come across as a spoiled brat. And if you have zero time to eat during a 12-hour day, you are doing a terrible job of managing your work manager. That said, boyfriend sounds like a bumbling buffoon. Dry pasta? Not thinking to put the jacket potatoes in the oven an hour before you were due to get home? He is an asshole too. Start eating breakfast. You both sound a bit incompetent. Buying the ingredients but expecting you to prepare them isn't having dinner sorted. But it's also your own responsibility to feed yourself throughout the day.